Okay, your boy, I'm back with another video, another real estate lunchbox video where I make these videos so you can't eat. Real estate lunchbox. Let's everybody eat. Everybody eats. At real estate lunchbox, everybody eats. Check it out. So we got some changes that are taking place in the market. I see it, I know it, and it's sad because a lot of us bought into the American home ownership dream. So without any delay, I want you to listen to this. This is what some homeowners are experiencing right now.
When I first bought my house, my mortgage payment was $1,151. After my first year living in that house, they raised my mortgage to $1,579. The fuck? I thought I was tripping. That is a $428 increase. I was under the impression that my mortgage payment would literally never change, but I was wrong. So basically, I believe it's every single year they come and do an assessment of your house. And they say, what's the value of this house from last year to this year? And if your property has increased in value, they are going to increase your taxes. I would have been okay with that if they would have explained that to me and I was ready and prepared. But no, I just got a bill in the mail and it said a $428 increase due in 2 months. I believe the issue is a lot of the times, especially when it comes to young people and first-time home buyers, realtors and mortgage lender, whoever you're dealing with, they don't want to give you all the. So when I first bought my house, my mortgage.
So what she's going to rant on and say is that the realtors don't necessarily give you the full picture when you purchase a home, which I think she's right. Not too many realtors actually know what to even tell you. Why? Because the amount of hours they took to actually learn, got them their license, but that didn't give them competency when it came to real estate as a whole. Like, so they don't know that, guess what? You're going to end up paying taxes on this property. And you know what? When these taxes go up, that means your price is going to go up. Your monthly payment is going to go up. You know, it's going to go up because that's what happens when the county increases. When the county sees your house values more, they're going to pass it on to you. And this is what's happening right now. Homeowners are losing or getting to the point of practically losing their house because the taxes have jumped significantly. But it's not just the taxes we're talking about right here too. So take a look at this, and she's going to tell you what's happening. We're talking about other things too, not just taxes.
I had no bills and I had a full-time 9-to-5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay. I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, you know, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then
that's an 80-year-old home also. So one of the big things is when you're new and this is your first time purchasing a house, buying an 80-year-old home or a home that's past 78, to me, 78, I'm filming, this is 1920, oh, this is 2024, 78, 1978 or older. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be in for a world of hurt.
Another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately.
Oh, man.
Bills, and I had a full-time.
Destitute immediately. I had a neighbor in his house and board in the same neighborhood. And I'm going to tell you, his house, the pipes burst. One day he just called me, hey, Leon, do you know a plumber? My pipes burst in my home. This thing is a real thing. It happens. It happens more frequently than you think it does. Okay. And for that particular reason, I think a lot of people aren't really ready for when it takes place because, yeah, the realtor didn't tell them about it. The inspector didn't tell them about it. But I'm going to tell you guys something. Guess what? The realtor and inspector, that's not their part of that. That's not their job. part of when you become a homeowner and you're going into that space, you have to educate yourself, because it's easy to be house poor because you spent all of your paycheck on your house and your car. That's the reality. And I think that's what's gonna actually start this next wave of foreclosures that could possibly take place, because tax increases, physical distress on a property, those things cause people to have to give up what they were looking to, what they've owned for such a long time. Or some people, some millennials, some younger folks, they can't even hold on to the dream of home ownership, because now that dream of home ownership is costing them and it's stressing them out. Okay. So, and it's not just, you're not alone if you're going through it.
Is not it. Like, don't rush. And I will just be like, I don't understand it, because I'm literally chilling, like cheaper than rent. I was bamboozled. And so I asked them, can I sell the house? And they were like, there's no equity in it. I see me smiling, but come next month, I'm literally going to be in tears, because $1,000 extra a month, I legit want to move back home and live with my parents.
Man, I told my children they don't have to leave. They can stay right here. Okay. Why? Because more people under one rooftop. Yeah, I mean, you can sustain a whole lot more and you can grow from there. A lot of foreign families do that when they come to the States. My background, my family's from West Africa. So a lot of foreign family, whether you're Latino, whether you're Asian, we see that in their type of culture and community more than we see it in the African-American community and culture. But but you see why, because when these unexpected things happen, it's great to be able to say, hey, I got family and it's not me. But if you notice in this too, a lot of these videos are single women who purchase homes. I'm going to tell you, if you're a single woman, you want to buy a home, there's nothing wrong with it. But in order to, before you purchase, you got to know these numbers. You got to know these numbers, because the numbers, not the numbers that your loan officer tells you, you got to sit back and crunch your own numbers, because that's your lifestyle. And the loan officer doesn't know your lifestyle. They don't know that even though you get paid, $1,500 that week, you're going to probably spend about $500 in groceries or $300 in groceries. They only give a rough estimate. And between that, let's say you spend $4 in groceries and that $500, that $4 and that $500, $100, that's just miscellaneous money. You don't do your numbers, you won't actually know. But when I look at what's coming down the line, this is one of the biggest things that's going to affect us. We ran into homes. They were cheap. The market was going up. The pandemic was hitting. Everybody said, buy a house. You want to get into it now. This is the time to get it. And nobody crunched the numbers.
Let's say you put down 3% plus closing costs. It's going to be $25,000 cash upfront out of pocket. Let's say you get a 7% interest rate. It's going to put your principal and interest payment around $2,600 a month, and then another $700 a month in taxes and insurances. So let's say $3,300 out the door for this home. Now, how they're going to qualify you, let's say you make $100,000 as a W-2 employee as a salary, and that's gross income. They're typically going to use about 40% of your income to qualify you with debt to income, which gives you a $40,000 allowance divided by 12 months, gives you $3,333. So you barely qualify, but you do it if you have no debt.
Now, this is if you have no debt. I've spoken to people, they've got credit card debt, 5, 10, 15, 20,000, and they still want to buy a house. This is when you have no debt, that you're still turning around and you're putting that amount of money down. You're still putting 5% down. You may get an FHA loan and only do 3.5. You may get away with a conventional where you put more money down and you don't have a PI, you don't have a principal mortgage, you don't have to pay mortgage insurance on the property. But that doesn't matter, because you're still going to have to deal with knowing those numbers as you go down the line.
If you have a $500 car payment and 500 student loans, that $1,000 comes off.
And we all have car payments.
And you can actually only afford,
well, a lot of people, most Americans have
$2,333 in the eyes of the lender, so you wouldn't qualify. But for this example, let's say you don't have any debt. But let's look at your real money here, your take home. $100,000 salary is probably $70K after taxes and everything. So that's about $5,800 a month in net pay.
So don't be house poor. Don't be house rich and mortgage and house rich and wallet poor. Well, how's it house poor? It is house poor. I always wonder why they call it house poor. It's because your house is making you poor. Or when it's said, when you say house poor, it sounds like you're saying your house is poor. I don't know. But don't become house poor. Don't be the person that you're paying so much for your house that you can't sustain your lifestyle. And this is what's happening. So now we're on a verge going at the end of 2024. We're going in 2025. This is true regardless of whatever year, but we see it more impacting this year with high inflation. Inflation, I'm going to tell you, makes you house poor. Now it increases the value of your house, but it takes more money out of your pocket to sustain it. And you see it right now for taxes. So what's the solution to it? Why do we listen to all these videos? One, you have to be conscious of it when you purchase in a home. Know that whatever value, whatever your monthly payment is on the property, your monthly payment isn't going to stay that. It's going to change over the course of 2-3 years. It may be the next following year. You may have it if you're in a new construction, man, it can be soon. It can be definitely within a year, because in new construction, the property really hasn't been assessed by the county on the value. They have an estimated assessment, but as the builder builds more in that subdivision, going further back in that subdivision, you're closing on your house, your neighbor's closing on their house, and it may be a year later and the builder's done building. Actually, in some cases, it's 2 years later, 2.5 years later, and the builder is done building. So the county's coming in and assessing it during that time. So it meant your bill can be $2,500 a year in taxes, but it's not a strange thing that when the builder's done building, 2 years later, you're double that in taxes. Okay. I experienced my tax bill going up and I was like, what the heck? even though I knew that that's a natural occurrence, nobody suspects that the house you bought for 300,000 is going to be worth 4 or it's going to be worth 5 in such a short period of time. And that's what we're having. High inflation causes these values to go up, and the county doesn't see the inflation period. They don't say, hey, this is high inflation, but we're really not going to really hit you for this because this is high inflation. No, they see higher costs, a higher value homes, more money for us. And that's what happens. So keep that in mind when you purchase a home. You don't want to be house poor, because as we go into 2025, as we move forward with this presidential election, this news cycle, and we go to the next 4 years, you got to be prepared. You don't want to jump in that house and then find out in this new cycle, this new wave, this post-pandemic period, that your house note is going up $300 to $400 every year, and you don't know what to do. Homeownership may not be for you. It's not for everyone. And it's even more difficult with one income during an inflationary period to sustain a home, for those tax values to not knock you out or to make you go bankrupt. And the sad part about it is that if you jumped into it and you're trying to sell, you may not have any equity, none at all. You said, how is that possible? The value went up. Okay. The value went up on your property and you bought it at 3. The county says it's valued at 4. The county says it's valued at 4. That $400, that $100,000 or $150,000 adjustment, okay, that's there. That's what the county gave you. So knowing that the county gave that to you, it does change the game. Why? Because they're looking at a $400,000 home. Now, guess what? Houses over there may have sold for $400,000 10 months ago, but you're in that 12-month cycle because they're going to go back 12 months and look at comps. So keep yourself out of trouble. If there's any doubt in your mind when it comes to purchasing in this current climate, don't buy. Listen to that. Be sensitive to it. I believe the Holy Spirit speaks to us. God speaks to us and tells us, not yet, now, wait. He never says no. I don't believe he says no. Okay. I believe he says not yet, now. Just wait. I got something better for you. And there may be something better for you. So don't rush into it. You don't want to be house poor. That's my take for today. After 18 years in real estate, oh my goodness, I'm glad that some people can actually sit back and take what I've got, and I can take this and I can help you to continue to eat in this real estate market and not be caught up in all this junk that's coming on down the line. Like, subscribe, follow me for more content. Real Estate Lunchbox. We want to make it where everybody eats. So I'm going to take my 18 years and I'm going to stuff it in a lunchbox and I'm going to force you to eat it. That's not true. I'm going to make it so attractive you can't deny eating. You guys have a great day. Be blessed. I'll see you guys on the next video. I am out.